Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Adorkable Rachel, and happy May the 4th be with you! A little while ago, The Last Jedi came out on Blu-ray, and it did answer some questions from The Force Awakens that a bunch of us had been wondering for the past 2 years. But it's also no denying that they did also give us even more questions. And we won't know until December 2019 if any of those questions will be answered, but we've got one more film, so there's still a chance that we will. Since today is May the 4th be with you, I figured that this would probably be the best time to talk about my personal top 5 biggest questions that I want answered in episode 9. And keep in mind, I'm not talking about fan theories or trying to put the pieces together given what we have, no. And by the way, I do know that there are some answers to these questions on places like Wikipedia, but no, I want like real legit answers within the movies. And keep in mind, I'm going to be discussing some major spoilers from The Last Jedi, so if you're one of the 2 people who have not watched it yet, then maybe this isn't the video for you. So here we go. Here are my top 5 questions that I want answered in episode 9. Number 5. What is to become of Leia? Okay, so I will admit this question is a little low on the list because we are gonna get an answer to this either way. As I'm sure many of you are already aware, Carrie Fisher was supposed to appear in episode 9 originally, but unfortunately due to her untimely death in 2016, they never got a chance to film any of her scenes, so The Last Jedi was her last movie. And it's interesting because considering what does happen to her in the movie, I think it actually would have been kinda easy to just let her die in The Last Jedi, and I think most of us would have been okay with that, but surprisingly, they just went ahead with their original plan, and she's all good at the end of the movie. Even though they had plenty of time to rework it, Leia is very much alive at the end of The Last Jedi, almost as if they were definitely gonna use her in episode 9. And I also read a while ago that Lucasfilm confirmed that she will not be digitized in the next movie, and they're also not using any archive footage of her. So the big question is, how are they gonna close out her character, and will it be even the least bit satisfying? And a couple weeks ago, some news surfaced that apparently they're gonna try to get Meryl Streep to play her, and I just, no, I love Meryl Streep, don't get me wrong, but there's just something that does not feel right about that. And if they do not decide to use Meryl Streep or another actor, then are they maybe just gonna have it start with Leia's funeral, or will we show her hand? Just what exactly are they gonna do? That seems to be the really burning question for a lot of fans. What are we gonna do with Leia in episode 9? I don't know. Number 4. Will Finn choose Rey or Rose? Or anyone? I mean, it's as simple as that, because The Force Awakens did imply that there might be some kind of romantic chemistry between our 2 heroes, although I do think it came more from Finn than Rey. But also in The Last Jedi, we do see that Finn is still really worried about Rey, even though they don't really have any screen time pretty much throughout the whole film. But also, if you've seen the deleted scenes, there is a part where we see that Finn does see how Rey said goodbye to Finn, and it's kind of weird and self-aware, and I don't think it's as charming as it thought it was, and that's why they didn't include it, thank goodness. But anyway, it's implied there. When I saw the first movie, I had predicted that maybe something would happen, but now that they've spent so much time apart, I'm not so sure, because it feels like it'd be a little weird to go back to that now. I mean, in the original trilogy, Leia and Han had 3 movies to let their romance blossom, and that made sense, but here it doesn't really. And then we have Rose in the new movie, who I do like a lot. She's a really cute and fun character and everything, but I think a lot of fans do agree that her romance between Finn and her was kind of glossed over and really random at the end there. So then who is Finn gonna have his eyes set on in the next movie? Is it gonna be Rey, or is it gonna be Rose? Or nobody, or someone else. I know this is not that important in the grand scheme of things, but again, you have to wonder, is he gonna choose Rey? Is he gonna choose Rose? Is he gonna choose anybody? Maybe it's just the fact that it's a little confused in the direction it's going in, and that's actually why I'm kind of curious as to what's gonna happen. Number 3. Who is Snoke? So I know a lot of fans did not like that Snoke died so early in the trilogy, but to be perfectly honest, I didn't really mind it that much. Especially since, and I don't think a lot of people are gonna disagree with me, it was a really, really badass death, first of all, but also now it gives Kylo a chance to be the Supreme Leader, and it opens up a lot of possibilities for how his arc is going to come to a close. The only issue that I personally have with Snoke dying this early is that we don't know anything about him. Where did he come from? What was his role and motivation in uprising the First Order? And will we ever find out? I just feel like his death would have been so much more satisfying if we just knew a little more about him. Apparently, Rian Johnson didn't include this because he thought it would have been a little weird for Snoke to just randomly stop for 30 seconds and explain his backstory. And it wasn't weird when Luke suddenly stopped to explain what happened to him in the past? I don't know. For me personally, I think a quick little explanation would have just been enough. Well, anyway, I just hope that in the next movie we'll get a little bit of a Snoke backstory. I know that he's dead, but just something, guys. We can still learn more about him. I don't ask for much. I just want a little bit of information so that I can feel the weight of the First Order just a little bit more. I mean, come on! Number 2. Is the Knights of Ren clip revealing the future? Okay, so you remember in The Force Awakens when Rey grabbed Luke's lightsaber and then she had that really random vision? Well, so far, a lot of the things that were in the vision revealed themselves to be things that actually happened or were going to happen. They weren't just random visions. There's Luke in the past with R2-D2, then there's Rey being abandoned by her parents in the past, and then also we have that snowy forest that later depicted to be her future battle with Kylo Ren. The only thing that we have not yet seen is the clip of Kylo with the Knights of Ren. The Knights of Ren have been the subject of a lot of theories over the past couple of years because, much like Boba Fett, we don't really know anything about them. The only thing that we really know now is that when Kylo turned to the dark side, he destroyed Luke's temple and a bunch of Luke's students went and followed Kylo. So those students might be the Knights of Ren, but we don't really know yet. And this frustrated a lot of fans because they didn't even get a mention or make an appearance in The Last Jedi. And believe me, I was one of those fans that was frustrated. Well, there's only one more movie left, so are they gonna make an appearance in Episode 9? And if they do, is it gonna have that clip in the rain? Cause if it doesn't, then that clip is gonna be really, really pointless. I mean, it would make sense if that scene was in the new movie. We did see that the vision did show her the future. The only issue I see with this is that Kylo is wearing that mask in that vision, and didn't he destroy the mask in The Last Jedi? I mean, it is possible that he could reconstruct a new one, but also wasn't him destroying it in The Last Jedi kind of symbolic of him letting go of the past? I don't know, but even if we don't see the Knights of Ren or whatever they're called, I sure hope we get at least some kind of explanation of what that clip was. And the number 1 burning question I have for Episode 9 is, where did Maz get Luke's lightsaber? Okay. I know some of you might find this petty, but for me, the most frustrating question about the sequel trilogy is this. In Episode 7, when Rey was first getting a grip of what the Force was, she found Luke's lightsaber tucked away in Maz's bar. She gets the vision, Maz confirms that that is Luke's lightsaber, and at the end of the movie, Rey takes it with her when she goes to find Luke. Okay, I would not be so hung up over this if Rey just happened to find it and it just happened to be Luke's lightsaber or Luke's father's lightsaber or whatever you want to call it. Maybe some scavenger got a hold of it and it was passed around for a while and the Force like attracted Rey to it. I don't know, but you know what? If that was it, or if that's what we had to do to put the pieces together, I would live with that. I could buy it fine. Totally okay. But in The Force Awakens, Han asked Maz how she got a hold of Luke's lightsaber, and her exact words were, "A good question for another time."
A good question for another time.
Ah! Okay. Well, the way they set it up, it made it sound like we would eventually get an answer to that. We had better get an answer to this, because you cannot just say that we now have Luke Skywalker's lightsaber that he's not seen since his arm got cut off, imply that you know where it came from, and then just not tell us. Maz, you said that was a good question for another time. Well, I'm holding you to that. You made it clear that you have the answers, so where did you get Luke's lightsaber, Maz? Who got it from Cloud City? How did you get a hold of it? How? How? Again, I know that's petty, I know I'm probably more hung up over it than I should be, but if that answer is not given to us in the last movie, that is gonna haunt me forever. Just give me an answer, guys, please, because if you don't, it's just gonna seem like that was just some really lazy coincidence. And I really, really don't want that in these movies. I wanna like you, sequel trilogy. By the way, on that note, why did Luke not question how Rey had his lightsaber that he hadn't seen in decades? You know, I'm so lenient about a lot of things, but it's these tiny, tiny little details that bother me so much. So there you go. Those are my top 5 most burning questions for episode 9, and I expect to get an answer for those ones, so JJ, just please don't let me down. So now I want to know, guys, what questions do you have for episode 9? Do you expect to get some answers? And also, do you have any kind of theories as to the questions that I just presented here? Well, go ahead and leave your comments below. Be sure to like and share. And if you're new and like what you saw here, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to hit the little bell button down there to get notified when new stuff comes out, because I make new videos every week. Bye, Adorkable buddies, and may the 4th be with you.